You know, when I travel, I like to use the blue highways on road maps. You know, the spider web of little fine blue lines that show the roads that go from one town, little town, to the next. And it was what we used to drive before the interstates came in with their 10 over policy. That's 10 miles an hour over the speed limit. And you jump over on it, and they have a big town about every hour of driving, which is 75, 85 miles, something like that, with all the plastic signs, and all the restaurants are just alike, and you just take the one that's the easiest to get to and has the parking lot with the spaces on it. But I like to take the as I say, the blue highways, the ones that take you to the little towns that have been there, stranded in time for the 100 years or whatever. They used to be called one-horse towns. Now they don't have any horses, but they still have one of everything. They have one stoplight, one restaurant, one doctor, one lawyer, one school, and the restaurants all have one menu that they hand around if you ask for it, but everybody knows what they have, so there's no use handing them a menu. But I like those restaurants and the kind of food they put out. The wife works as a waitress, calls everybody hun, and the husband is the cook, and back at the back they have the old farts table where the old men with John Deere caps gather every morning to have coffee and lie about things and swear at the politicians. But that's my kind of place. They got a picture of the painting of dogs playing poker on the wall, and probably a calendar hanging on the wall. But this morning I'm just going to make a breakfast like you'd find in one of those places. So come join me. It starts off with some fried potatoes. I don't mean hash browns or anything like that. It's just fried potatoes. And I have some here that I cut up, and they're just Irish potatoes, white potatoes. You can use red potatoes if you want to, but they just cut them up in little bite-sized pieces and season them. I use just a mixture that I make of salt, pepper, paprika, and cumin, and sprinkle over them. Or you can use whatever commercial brand of seasoning that you like. When I was 18 years old with a commercial pilot's license, a new commercial pilot's license in my wallet, I decided I wanted to make some money flying. So I got a job flying crop dusters in California. I lived in Texas at the time. Went out there, and you got paid by what you did, and the only problem was we had some terrible weather there in the San Joaquin Valley, and you get to fly for about 2 hours one morning, and the next 2 days you sat on your butt in a cheap hotel or cheap motel waiting for the weather to clear. Well, at the end of a month, I had done several things. I bought myself a motorcycle, and I'd spent all my money, and it didn't look like it's going to get any better, so I decided to head home. And I was coming through Arizona in a little town called Show Low, and I was running short on money and everything else. So I saw this little restaurant there, and it said cook wanted. So I went in there, and the guy that owned the place, he was cooking. It was kind of slow time, and he came out and he said, "Well, are you a cook?" And I said, "Well, I'm a pretty good cowboy cook. I've cooked all my life on the ranch." And he said, "Well, at least I can teach you." So he said, "Be here in the morning." And I said, "Well, I'm also short on money. Any place I could stay around here, you think?" And he says, "Yeah, I've got a back room here with a cottage. You're welcome to stay there." So the next morning he went through how to cook breakfast in a restaurant like that on a flat top, which I'd never done in all my life. And the secret is to pre-cook most everything, the sausage, bacon, fried potatoes and everything like that are pre-cooked and kept warm. So when an order comes in, all you have to do is fill it, and it can circulate in and out in about a minute. And that's what I'm doing here, is pre-cooking these potatoes. Another thing he taught me was never serve breakfast on a cold plate. These have been over here warming, and above the stove in the restaurant, above the flat top, there's a shelf where you keep your dishes up there. And I've noticed something else. They are always the same kind of dish. They have the blue ring around them. And the first thing you do is serve up some potatoes on it. And cook your eggs. Now, he didn't teach me this. I don't remember where I learned it, about how to fry eggs. Make perfect eggs. Okay, cook the eggs now. My wife and I both like our eggs over easy. That's with the white done and the yellow still running. She only wants one egg. I like two, so it works out just right. And my trick on cooking eggs perfectly. Make a little space there for it and throw in an ice cube and put the lid on them. In the meantime, I've heated the sausage. And turn the toaster on. Check the eggs here. Nope, that's sunny side up right now. They aren't over easy yet. Put the lid back on. Check them again here. Yep, that's it. Perfect over easy egg. Being obstinate here. There we go. Okay. Here's my wife's egg. And mine. And the toast will be ready here in a minute, and it's ready to go to the table. Okay, here it is on the table, ready for breakfast.